Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to Our Heritage on 91.3 Radio Maria, the voice of truth. My name is Stella Francis. Welcome to Our Heritage. Our Heritage is a program cut across Nigerian culture, cultural festival, food, music, dance, etc. Culture is a way of life, including acts and beliefs of institutions and populations that are passed down from generation to generation. Imagine passing a wrong information to a particular generation. Unimaginable, right? I think it's disastrous. Today we will be discussing intercultural dialogue, given the insecurity and a lot of crime associated with youth. And I won't be doing that alone. I am here with some very important personality from the Cardinal Onaikan's Foundation Fellowship for Peace. And they will be introducing themselves, starting from my left.
My name is Yusuf Idris. I came from Borno State, and I am the Interfaith Dialogue Coordinator of the Nigerian Red Cross Society, Niger State Branch, Suleja Division.
And you are?
I'm a fellow of Cardinal Onaikan Foundation for Peace as well.
Thank you.
Yes, I am Sheikh Uthman Abubakar, Director and Founder, Interreligious Harmony and Advocacy Initiative from Kembi State, also a fellow with Cardinal Onaikan Foundation.
Then you're welcome.
I am Dr. Clementine Nishiwe from Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm a lecturer at the University of Johannesburg, and I'm a fellow as well of this foundation.
Yeah, fellow of Cardinal Onaikan's Foundation. Yeah, Mommy, can we hear you, please?
Okay, yes, my name is Fatima Yusuf. I am the Public Relations Officer of the Muslim Sisters Organization of Nigeria. I am from Kebbi State. I'm also a fellow of Cardinal Onaikan Foundation for Peace.
Thank you very much. By now, you should see the caliber of guest speakers that we have, and we are talking intercultural dialogue. So it's beyond even Nigeria. So I would like to say that this is an African intercultural dialogue. So we'll be talking about African intercultural dialogue or on parenting. So I would like to start with our scholar, Abubakar. What is parenting to you? Because of course we are from different parts of Nigeria, also apart from our sister who is from South Africa. So tell us your view on parenting.
Well, when you talk about parenting anyway, we look at parenting as the processes of child upbringing in a particular family. And according to our culture anyway, when you talk of parenting starts actually right from the time when the marriage process starts. I mean, the spouse you have to pick is the beginning of parenting. Wow. When you did not get the right person, I mean a person that is of a sound character and behavior, moral sound upbringing,
okay,
then if you make mistake of getting such a partner, that is the mistake as far as parenting is concerned from the beginning, from the onset.
Okay.
It is expected when you have gotten a person that is morally upright right from the beginning as a spouse, then that spouse that is morally sound will help in impacting that moral uprightness among the children. Now, the problem we are facing today is lack of the parental care. Parenting is the process of child upbringing from the childhood to the time the child becomes fully, in his senses anyway. Directives, taking care of schooling, responsibilities, all these ones entails what parenting is.
Thank you very much. As you can see, we have two ladies here and we have two gentlemen here. Straightforward, we would like to hear a view from our mommy.
Okay, to me, I go with Malam Shehu, that parenting starts from the wife or the husband.
Okay.
That's if you get a right husband, meaning that you get the right parent for your child. And if you get the right wife, meaning that you get a right mother to your child. And the second thing is that you should give your family the local.
Okay.
You should be very careful, because that is why we are facing problem now. Many people are after a halal or haram, or what can I call it, please, Malam?
Lawful and
unlawful. The unlawful is not running well. People are after it. But before, when we are young, It is the unlawful that people are running unlawful is following them. So that is why we are bringing many children that are criminals. There will be a time that you will just go and take something that you will be a leader in a particular organization, that they will give you something to distribute among your subjects. Then you pack it completely to your house.
Okay.
At the end of the day, your wife, your children will eat that, and the subject will pray.
Talking about diverting what belongs to public to your family.
Yes,
we will talk about that as the conversation progresses.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. I like the fact that he pointed that parenting start from where you are courtship, or even when you're selecting a wife, and mommy also think in that direction. So our brother Idris, do you also think in that direction, or you have a contrary opinion to that?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. I think we are all talking on the same thing. We are talking about how the upbringing of a child is going to take place, how you are going to give your child the best of your own knowledge in order to give him a good room to come and be something in the given society. I agree with them. It's like we are talking the same thing. We see that from choosing the spouse, you need to be very careful. In this sense, all of us here came from a different ethnicity, and you know, each and everyone has his or her own culture that is trying to adopt. But one thing is that we are forgetting our norms and values. This is very important. This is very crucial in upbringing. Look at how the country is today, Nigeria, and the world at large. Look at how everywhere crisis, everywhere, more especially the youths. Okay. You see, we neglect the youth, and the youth are very important in every given society. They are the backbone of the society. So whenever you give a good parental at home, and the child will come out and show that, yes, my parents have tried for me, and my father has chosen the best spouse for me in order to be something and benefit the society at large.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. Our dear Sister Clementine, we want to hear your own view, maybe the South African view of parenting. Do you agree with what they are saying, or you have a contrary opinion?
Definitely, I do agree with what they are saying, because to me, parenting means socialization. That process of socializing, introducing the child into this community. So the process of socialization, the whole process, that's childhood bringing. So what it means is, if this child has to be in this community, there has to be a good understanding of how to live in this community. But it begins also to from that stage where the parent will also understand what are the values that this child needs to know about, and what are some of the tools that the community has that this child can use. Perhaps we could also come to the use of technology, because these values that we have help us to think about how do we use technology to benefit our community and our youth. Sometimes they are not able to use those tools, the cultural tools, the community tools that we have, to be able to judge in a way that is really beneficial for the whole community. And if we are able to help these youth, our children, know and understand the values that we have in our communities, that we have in our society, our cultural values, then they'll be able to respond to every situation.
Thank you very much. By talking about social value, of course, social value are very important, because, of course, apart from the social values, there's a lot going on too. If you don't start it from family, they will get it outside. So it's important that the family introduce it to them, so that they will know their limits, they will know their boundaries. Because if you restrict them, they will learn in from school. Their peer groups are there, so it is important to know what your child is doing. Talking about knowing what your child is doing, I can imagine that the young people, Mr. Idris mentioned that the young people, now there's a lot of corruption among the young people. So I also wonder, I can agree with him that most of the crime is perpetrated by young people. So now my question goes to you, Mr. Abubakar. Do you think, is there a remedy for the youth?
Yes, of course there is. You see, when you see the young people going into corruption and activities that has to do with corrupt society, something should come to your mind. From where do they get this? Is it from the parent? Is it from the school? Is it from the community? Or is it their natural instincts that make them to behave in such way? You understand? Now the first question comes from parents. Okay, have they done the right thing they should do for the child? Because I really was fascinated when she brings about technology in the issue of child upbringing. Technology is good, you understand. In technology, there are so many advantages that a child will come across. But before a child is being introduced into modern technology, parents and society have a lot to do in shaping the thoughts and mind of the child. Otherwise, 98 to 99% of children, grown-up children now, are using the technology in a negative way.
Correct.
In technology, you are exposed to the world, exposed to so many antisocial vices in technology.
Yeah.
But only if you have that sound parental upbringing care from the beginning, then you can avert from that and focus on the advantage of technology, which are also numerous in our society. So when you see the grown-up people, youths in corruption today, your mind goes first to the family, and secondly it goes to their, not even the society.
Bedroom.
Now see, did you take them to school? Are they educated? And when they go to school, are they certificated illiterates? I mean, they only pass through the school without around the school to pass through them. Do they understand what they have gone there for? Are they well educated? In our degree program in the country, they said it's a degree that has to do with both learning and character. Both learning and character. There was a time I was opportune to be in the midst of vice chancellors. I raised the question of this nature. Have you ever denied a student who is a first-class student, denied him degree certificate because of character? Unless that is done, you cannot achieve sanitizing the character of student right from the school. And then from the government side, a person that goes to apply for a job, you look at his qualification, look at his CV, look at his experience. Have you looked at the character? Have you looked at his previous history? If you deny a qualified person appointment because of the character, it reforms the society, because you know you will not get any opportunity without good character. The society have to reset their mind.
Thank you.
So many angles you look at in a corruption in youth.
Yeah, thank you. I see you are very passionate about this topic and character. Yeah, but because of time, we will take it easy so that we can go around, so that everybody can speak. Talking about character, Mr. Idris, do you think culture has affected the character of young people, or how did the youth get to where they are now?
Well, thank you very much. My brother here, Abubakar Uthman, have said a lot and have said almost all. But I would like to emphasize one thing. Parents must bring the best child to a given society. So in this process, a parent must make sure the child have the best knowledge, best education, so that when he or she goes out, will showcase that yes, he came from a good parental home. Notwithstanding, parents must follow the footsteps of their children. Know who your children are following. Know what your children does every minute, every second, every hour. By this, I think the society is going to come out with a very, very good generation. Not like a generation that everyone will say, what of our own during our own generation, this generation does not have this, does not have this, does not have this. You know, this is what we call character. The character is very, very important because it shows in the child during such process. And I would like to also give an advice for parents, because me too, I am a father of two. I try to, as much as possible, to get the way or the best way of giving a parental to my children. The process is that even if your child is having a problem, give him the room to explain to you what is he feeling. Without giving the room, without giving him such mechanism, such way of expression, you know, it will harm him, emotional harm. This is what they call emotional harm. It will harm him internally, that he doesn't have the privilege to sit down with his father or his mother openly to tell them what is happening to them. You see, this is very, very important. We need to give them the room. We need to interact with them, give them the social and basic needs that they, whenever they have something worrying them, they can feel free and open to the parent.
Thank you very much. Giving giving a friendly upbringing to your children so that they can speak to you friendly, whether they have a negative or positive concern.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for that one. We'll go straight to you, Clementine. What is your opinion about what he just said?
I want to bring in the something that we have almost forgotten, that a child belongs to the community.
Yeah.
There was what used to be a common understanding that the village raised a child. So speaking about that character, you as a mother or a father, you cannot work on that character alone. The whole village need to intervene and help you to socialize this child in this community. The whole village, when they contribute to raising this child, and parents allow the neighbor also to be another person who can contribute to this upbringing of a child. In this way, when I see your child outside doing something that could land the child in a space where he or she will be in danger, or we endanger the community, I will intervene. But this time, if any member of the community intervenes, parents have come to understand that this is my child and I raise my child the way I want.
Thank you very much for parents who are intervening. Like, this is my child. You have raised a very sensitive point here, talking about a child upbringing is for the community, not just for the parents. Once a child is born into the world, it's for everybody to shape the child. So mommy, do you agree with that, or you think that they should allow you and your children so that you can shape in their character the way it suits you?
No, parental is a collective responsibility. That is what it's supposed to be. And even listen, parents too now, the parents of today are not the same as the parents of the past. I can recall when I was in primary school, I would meet my mother making firewood to cook the food that I will eat for breakfast and go back to school. So that is whenever there is exam, if I remember that her suffering, that is how I will read to show her that I appreciate what she is doing to me. But now the parents end up leaving their children with the housemates. That also matters. If you don't have a good housemate, that is how she will just expose your children to many bad characters.
Okay. Talking about exposing your children to bad character or a bad parenting, our mommy has just mentioned that we should be mindful of the people that we leave our children to. A lot of parents now leave their children for house help to take care of. So we are asking that you guide against that kind of parenting. On that note, we'll open the phone lines. You call us and tell us what's your take on this conversation. The number to call is 081 084 475 18 081 084 475 18. Please call us and tell us what you think about the topic that we are discussing. Do you think that the community or the a child should be allowed, the community should shape in the child, or parents should just do that on their own? But I'll come back to you, Mr. Idris. What do you think about what our mommy just said? Do you think that parenting should be just for the immediate family, or should be for the community?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think, as they said, parental is a collective effort. It's not supposed to be limited. For example, if my child committed a crime outside, my neighbor can advise him and give him the proper way of doing it. Okay, we came in, as just like mommy said, when her mother cooks for her food of breakfast that she will take during her school. But today, everything, we are in a digitalized world. You go to your kitchen, you will see gas, you will go to your electric water system, everything has changed. But still, notwithstanding, we are not supposed to forget ourselves. We have to go back to what our forefathers did. Whenever your child commits a crime or did something wrong, when someone is advising him and putting him in a proper way, do not intervene.
Okay.
Give the room so that the child too, whenever he comes back, enters his room, he will think that, see, this uncle says so things that is not, what I did is not proper, so I need to correct it before my father or my mother will hear that. I think if we are given such a way or such a room for even the community at large to intervene, I think we are at the right track. But whenever we are distancing our children that my child is my child, your child is your child, then definitely we are bringing a corrupt or raising a corrupt society.
Definitely, we are talking about children to remedy the situation. But now there's a whole generation that seems to be like a problem in Nigeria. I am talking about the youth. Mr. Abubakar, what do you think? Do you think they should give up on this generation called the youth of this present days that every crime is associated with? Or what do you think that the youth should do? What's your advice for the young people now?
Do you know that the youth are the greatest investment that any society can have? If you ignore and abandon the youth, then the society is bound to collapse. You understand? Even if the youth are the greatest investment, then you have to focus and you have to have some programs that focus on the youth. I mean, the parents, the society, the government should focus on some activities that will reshape the minds and thoughts of our youth, because they are the future leaders. Today, youth are aspiring that the government should be given, they should take over the government because the old has failed. The youth want to try, but if the youth want to come on board, you begin to think who among the youth is going to come on board to take over this challenge, because the focus is not there. And sorry, finally, I think from what I heard they were saying, you see, parents are the first school to a child. The first school to a child is the family, the parents. Whatever a child sees the father and mother doing, you can't erase it from his mind. That is what is right. Whether right or wrong, to him is the right one, before the child goes to the community. And the lost glory of our communities is that in the past, when a child did something wrong outside, somebody can discipline the child and you are satisfied. Today is no longer the situation. You will carry your child even to school and he will be disciplined in school. You will go to the school and fight. This is what we have, how we get ourselves to be. So this is what we have to be. See, we have to come back to the drawing board.
Okay, thank you very much. We have to go back to the drawing board. I think I also agree that we need to go back to the drawing board, but I will go straight to you, Clementine. You've heard about the youth in Nigeria and a bit of challenges that we are having. Can you share, do you have the same challenge, or can you share, can we learn from your experience?
In South Africa, many companies have are investing, at least now, into mentoring the youth. So now the focus is about mentoring the youth. For instance, at the university where I work, there was a communication last week that about 3,000 to 4,000 youth are going to, this is a sponsorship just directed to the youth that are going to be trained. They will be put beside lecturers so that when you're doing research, when you are teaching, you find something that they can do that can empower them. In this way, while they are also studying, they are also able to learn how to teach or to do research. So the moment they go outside of this university, they will not walk away with the certificate only. They will be mentored. They will know what to do with this certificate. So they are learning at the same time, but also they are doing. So learning and doing, there are two things that you cannot separate, and mentorship, I think, is the key. We have failed our youth. We do not consider them, and when they are not mentored and they come to our companies, we begin to judge them. And I think that's not the space for judging them. We all have started from somewhere. It's time, and that's why I was mentioning the concept of village and Ubuntu. So from South Africa, if you do not understand the concept of Ubuntu, when we speak about Ubuntu, as we mean that I am because you are. So when what I mean by raising a child as a village, we get to know the talent that our youth have. How are we going to know which talent that they have? It's when we are also involved in the upbringing of the youth, not disciplining. Because I almost disagreed with my colleague, because disciplining, sometimes it could go very far. We really need to debate about that, but we do not have time about that. But also, I recommend that we are very careful when we speak about disciplining, but also contribute towards developing our youth, empowering them, so that when they join our companies, they are able to contribute. And this is what South Africa is investing in now.
Yeah, I think this is a very good note, but I will open the phone lines are open. Please call us and tell us your opinion. The number to call is 081 084 47518, 081 084 47518. Yes, you mentioned mentorship. I hope our government officials are listening to what they are doing, what is working in South Africa. I also think that youth should be mentored, because oftentimes you hear people say youth are not employable. How will they be employable if you don't invest in them? So I would take a lead from what she just said and beg that government should empower the youth and mentor the youth, so that they will have a space, because I think that the youth have no voice. And then I was in a program one time where a professor told us that if we see any person, a male or female, that are above 60, we should just hold them responsible. They need to pay us, because they have benefited so much in this country, and then they are not giving the young people space. And I'm going straight to you, mommy. Are you part of those people that have benefited? Should we come for you after this program?
My own is instead of offering our youth with certificates, why not in the university that they introduce the entrepreneurship? That when you comes out with your degree certificate, then you comes out with something in hand, and also with some capital. You see, government is investing in many things. Then why not the youth? They should give them training on different types of businesses. Then after graduating, certificate with some capital to start that business. With that, these criminal activities will be reduced in the country, because the government is producing students, corpus.
So thank you very much. Please stay with us, and I hope that Clementine will clarify her point that she's saying. Maybe you misunderstood her, but she's here to clear up. You heard him.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. I really wanted to speak more about that, but you can see that our time is very limited, so I'll go straight into it. So disciplining, it can mean anything. It has become obvious that using violence, and violence, it doesn't have to be only physical, even if it's moral violence or punishment that we really bring too much pain into our kids. We are again creating angry generations, and this is why we observe them killing, doing crime, and they feel nothing. Why? We have done that to them. So they are simply bringing back what we gave them when we were saying that we were disciplining them. So every attempt to discipline, it should aim to give constructive comment It should aim to empower. It should aim for growth, but not making me feel that I'm useless. I'm new in this field. I cannot do much.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. I hope that, comrades, you heard her and you're clarified and her point is very clear. By the way, we are all peace builders here. So I believe that she is trying to say that we should use the dialogue approach, just as we are engaging in dialogue here in the studio. So please call us and tell us your concern.
I think the parents should understand discipline does not make a radical action against child.
Yeah.
Discipline can be moral, emotional, spiritual, moral uprightness given to a child, not necessarily punishment.
Yeah.
Punishment is not just discipline. Discipline means moral character given to a child, correctness.
Okay.
Moral correctness.
So I also think that value is something that we should really hold to a very high esteem when we are bringing up a child, because I meet a group of young people who most times I went to mechanic. I like to have dialogue dialogue to grassroots, so I engage them in conversation. And this guy was telling me that he likes to he engages in drugs activity. So and then I was asking him, I don't know how we arrive at that. He said he doesn't have a cell phone, and I asked him why. He said cell phones are expensive to maintain. He has to pay for charging. He has to pay to buy a recharge card. And I'm like, no. But you buy drugs. He said yes, drugs help him to relax. Even when he takes the drugs, he feel happy. Even 10,000 people are here talking to him. He just sit down and listen, and he doesn't make problem. So he would rather invest his money in buying drugs. And I told him, how do you talk to your mom? And he said that, he just, if he needs to talk to his mom, he either tell his friend that, please, I need to talk to my mom. Yeah. And then they borrow him their phones. And I'm like, who recharges it? He said, yeah, he begged them. And if they have recharge card, they allow him. If they don't have, then fine. Yes. So
this brings about the issue of what you call guidance and counseling.
Yeah.
We should have in community, there should be guidance and counseling. In house, there should be guidance and counseling. This child needs to be guided, needs to be counseled, so that you understand that, okay, taking this other part is better than taking drug addiction. As you are addicted to drugs now, you can never feel happy if you do not take drug. And that's a problem in your life, because every drug has a negative aspect. Every drug has a negative aspect. It's just that when the safety margin is more, you take it for sickness, but not for addiction. You understand? So guidance and counseling is also missing in our societies.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Please.
I'm afraid that counseling is another level you would have left behind the real problem, because you don't know what really made this person to start tasting this drug. If you look behind this decision to take drugs, he mentioned that I want to feel happy. I want to just relax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I can take everything. Why? Because I had enough of what is happening. And I have to admit it. We are failing our youth. We are failing them. In South Africa also, we have this issue of addiction. It's a general issue. Why? Perhaps this is the time we take the step back, and maybe counseling becomes part of the process, but also address the economic issue, the issue of poverty, the issue of lack of skills that is needed for these youth to also be marketable at the market of the jobs.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'd like to come back to you, Mr. Abubakar.
Yes.
It's a bit sensitive, but you see, the young people these days, they take drugs, they engage in drugs, they engage in different activities that are crime, but they don't see it as anything. But when you talk about they easily, when there's any religion, any issue related to religion, they are prone to response. Meanwhile, they are committing all manner of crimes. What do you think about those young people who the radicalization generally among the youth, because they are taking drugs, they are embarking on Boko Haram. But when you talk about religion or what, they are first to be, they are the frontliners to cause confusion.
Well, you are best aware of the saying that an indolent mind is a devil workshop. An indolent mind is a devil workshop. When you do not engage your mind on doing something, then you cannot stop that mind from doing the negative aspect of it. If you want a child to stop using this phone, you understand, then you have to provide a toy for the child that he can equally use. When the child is left without work, without education, without moral upbringing, without counseling, what do you expect from that child? Definitely he goes to the other side. He will take the negative aspect of it. So when our children are left on the street roaming about, without work, without education, without school, without any kind of business doing, then any Dick and Harry can come and pick them, pay them, and engineer them to carry out atrocity, because they are not guided. You understand?
Yeah.
So parental is there, society is there, the government is there. Our job makes available, are there job opportunities for the youths to get engaged? Youth engagement is paramount in these aspects.
Thank you very much for that one. I go straight forward to our mommy. How do we engage the youth?
Oh, there are many ways. By training them right from when they are young. We should train them with different types of businesses. And for instance, the way you talk about these children running about in the streets and being them engaged in different kind of religious system. Most of the children that were engaged in religious crimes, they don't know much about the religion. I can recall one of my neighbor, just small story. She told me one day I was crisis in Kano about between the houses or the Muslims and the Christians. I don't know, but she said they drive one woman, so she climbed the wall of her house and into her house. So 2 boys followed her. So they told her that she is from Jos. She said no, she is not from Jos. So they asked her to say gero, that is millet. You know, the Just people, they cannot pronounce gero clearly. The house they normally call it jelo. So she said jero. So he told her that, are you a Muslim? She said yes, she's a Muslim. Then he asked her to recite Fatiha. After she recited Fatiha, he asked his friend, is she correct? Because for the first 3 months I did not pray. Yes.
Okay.
So that is, he too told him that what is even Fatiha? And they are fighting for Islam.
Okay.
So that is how they killed that woman in that my friend's house.
Okay.
So most of them, they are ignorant. They don't know anything about religion. They are just hired, what can I call them? Hired killers or what?
Thoughts.
Yes. They are giving money to do such kind of criminal activities.
So as peace builders, what are we going to do? This is a life story. Somebody who does not even know the religion, who does not even know what the Quran is saying, and then he asks someone to recite the Quran. Now, how would he even? How can he verify that what she recited the Quran right? No idea, but they killed her. So what can you tell us, Mr. Idris, about this radicalization?
Well, Mom spoke a lot, and she gave a wonderful point. But you see, this is part of Cardinal Onaikan Foundation for Peace programs that we, the fellows, went and did before coming to our last model 3. They gave us a room to go and interact with our society. They gave us a room to go and interact with the youth. The focus is the youth. The youth, tell them what they are supposed to hear in their ears. Tell them the right thing that they are supposed to do, be it religious aspect or any other aspect of it. Okay, as a youth, because all we are youth, as youths, we are supposed to know that giving a good parental to a child is very, very important in every given society. Come to the religion aspect. Mommy said the guy could not even recite the Fatiha. He said, I didn't pray for almost a month. You see, these are the kind of things. The problem we are having, more especially we in the north there, that we are having is that you will go to a home where you will meet 30 children. The father in the morning will go to the market or to the office. They are left only with the mother. How can the mother take good care of 30 children without any help? Just look at it. Look at how the challenge she is going to face in order to make sure that these children got proper care. So we need to give time to our children, more especially the father and the mother and the society in general, to give time to the children to know the problem, to know what they are doing, to look at how their books are, to look at how, if they go to the Islamia, what they are doing, etc. I think it's going to benefit the society.
This is a very sensitive topic, and then it's very broad, but because of time, we are running out of time. I will give all of us 30 seconds to to advise the young people on the top subject matter that we're talking about, interreligious and intercultural dialogue, starting from you.
Okay, I would like to advise us, the youth out there, that first of all, we have to be patient, we have to be obedient, and we have to make sure that we respect those elders in our own society. Be it your father, be it your grandfather, be it your uncle, be it your aunt, be it your neighbor. So with this, I think we are going to have a good generation that each and every one of us, or every grandfather of us, or every aunt or mother will be happy and say that yes, this generation is among the best generation.
Thank you very much.
I feel the government should come into the process of rehabilitation, to rehabilitate these people, then empower them and engage them in something doing. This will come to an end.
Yeah, I like empowerment. Please take.
Yes, I would make this call to religious people to take this into their hands and empower every member of the village to be able to help to upbring the children of the village. And I think religions do have all it takes to help villages, to help the members of villages to contribute towards changing the situation that we have with the youth.
Thank you very much, religious leaders. If you are listening, you have a role to play. Mommy?
Yes, my own is an appeal to the parent that they should try as much as possible to teach and guide their children the good behaviors, because otherwise somebody will infect something that is not good in their head.
Okay, thank you very much. On that note, we will say please take time and guide your child. Otherwise, the streets will guide your child for you. Their peer group out there also are ready to introduce your child to the street guidance. So please take care of your child and know what your child is doing. On this note, we'll say thank you for listening, and please keep a date with Our Heritage on 91.3 with Stella Francis every Thursday and Friday for another interesting package. Thank you.